think that, it's important, though, to define what a grifter is.
Yeah, do it.
Because, in my opinion, because I try to be fair. I try not to just rail against everyone I disagree with and say things about them that aren't true. Because I think there's a fine line between somebody who's a grifter and someone who is just maybe not awake or somebody who's not on board. And to me, a grifter is somebody that is saying things that they know are not true because it's convenient, because they'll make more money that way. And I got to be honest with you, the people that I have the biggest problem with, it's guys like Matt Walsh, I have to say. Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles, to me, are the biggest ones.
And they're both Catholic.
I know.
Those should be your guys.
I know. And that's the thing is...
well, let me go on the record real quick, because I don't want to be hypocritical. I like Matt Walsh. And actually, this, I think, will maybe surprise some of the listeners, but I like Matt Walsh and kind of like a blue-collar everyman. He just got like that... he just has common sense in spades, right? He just, he's good on that. But Michael Knowles is actually, I think, more based. People usually think Matt Walsh, but Michael Knowles, he understands, he's more like, the Christian monarch, and that, he knows the Catholic philosophy and the history and stuff like that. So Michael Knowles, I think in some ways is more on board for let's set up a Christian monarch and Christian nationalism than even Walsh would be. But both of them do really well in a lot of ways, but they're never going to call out Jews.
Right.
So I get that.
Well, and that's the issue is it's not that I don't like them as guys. I mean, over the years, I have come to have a little more respect for them. They're Catholic. They're fellow travelers on some level. They're white. Michael Knowles is Italian. He's Sicilian. I'm Calabrian. So we're a little different as Italians, as far as Italians go. But what is very frustrating about them is, here's what I will say in their defense. I think that they both, the way they look at it, it's a trade-off, which is that they get to enjoy the Daily Wire platform, where they get to push the ball down the field on some of the issues they care about. And on the issues they care about, they're very good.
Yeah.
Like Matt Walsh, to his credit, has been a champion against the transgender movement.
Yeah, really.
And he's gotten laws changed in Tennessee.
Real effects.
Yes. He's summoned his people to the school boards. His documentary was unbelievable. He changed the conversation on that issue.
He did.
And that was admirable. And I admire that as an activist, as a broadcaster. I think it's very powerful. So I think his heart, they're good guys. I think they're generally pushing in the right direction as social conservatives, Catholics. And they've also, I would say, maybe Matt Walsh more so, they've been good on race too. Matt Walsh has been very brave on the white identity front against immigration, diversity, crime. Here's the problem, though, for me at least, and maybe it's a difference of opinion. My message is America first. And so that's really not about conservatism in any way, shape, or form, because conservatism inherently is about retarding social progress.
Right.
And that has a negative connotation, but that could be a good thing. Progress is a spook in some ways. Is there progress? That's a question. America first is not about that. It's about whether we have sovereignty, which is extremely specific. It's whether the American people actually have a say over the big decisions that happen in our country, whether they're made by the public or private sector. And that has to do with whether we're independent, whether we're free, whether as citizens, we really still have a government of, by, and for the people. And so I came up during the Trump generation, and his message was basically about that. On some levels, an anti-corruption message. And so to me, it's if you are not America first, and the biggest obstacle to that, of course, is the Israel lobby, at least on the right wing, then you're kind of a traitor. And I identify Ben Shapiro, some would call him a grifter. I would say he's just a foreign operative because he believes in what he says, but he's just agitating for a foreign government. He's on Israel's side, not America's. And so to see Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles, they're two Catholic guys. They're good guys. They're pro-white. They're patriotic. For them to be in the camp with Shapiro, working for him, and in a way, buttressing what his message is, almost inoculating him from criticism.
Right, because anybody who doesn't like Ben Shapiro, the immediate retort is, But Matt Walsh, how bad could he be? You know, because Matt Walsh, you know.
Exactly. And they'll say it's keeping Daily Wire afloat. If Daily Wire was just Andrew Klavan and Ben Shapiro, would it have any cachet?
Right.
Absolutely not. It's Knowles and Walsh holding it up. And I just look at a guy like that and say, he's doing a lot of good. He is clearly very popular, but does he want his legacy to be standing next to Ben Shapiro and giving him plausible deniability, giving him cover with the white people, with the Christians? And that's where, you know, it's kind of funny. Like, people have defamed my friends with the guilt by association for years. People say, well, I don't agree with everything he says, but it's like, do you really want to do that for Shapiro, which is kind of platform him and give him a seat at the table? I think that's problematic. And so I would call them out and say, I think they could survive on their own. Candace Owens and I, we have our differences, but she did something very courageous when she went against Shapiro. And when she went out on her own, she achieved heights that she never did at Daily Wire.
It didn't hurt her at all. She did great.
It helped her.
Yeah.
And so if anything, she proved it's possible that you can survive off of the Daily Wire plantation. You can thrive, actually. So I would love, and I said this before, I've been very harsh towards both of them. And in some ways I regret it. I've been very harsh. I've been pretty tough on them.
Almost daily, you know, in the comments of Matt Walsh, you know, he says something that's good. And I know you agree with it. And your comment will be, leave the Daily Wire, you know, or like, you know, something like that.
I say you work for Ben Shapiro. Daily reminder.
Yeah, right.
And it's like a one-sided beef. But I've really said some intense stuff towards them. But it's only out of just like a deep frustration. It may be me retconning it, but I'm so frustrated because they could do so much good on the right side. And I know it's their prerogative, it's their life, and it's their job, and they can pursue their own strategy, of course, but I know everybody would love to see them really take their own side. You don't need Shapiro and Klavan. You could do your own thing. And the last thing I'll say, though, is this. The one thing which is really inexcusable, I always tell people, and we're doing shows about this subject also, I tell people it's okay to conceal your views, but you can't lie. You can't, because that helps the enemy when you lie. And it's also immoral. And what I really can't stand is when Matt Walsh went on Tucker Carlson, and they talk about Israel, and Matt Walsh said, well, you know, I'm just not obsessed with Israel. I'm pro-America, he said, and you know, I think if you're preoccupied with Israel, positive or negative, that's a problem, he said, and a number of other things. He said, I think Israel, they have a right to defend themselves, and they can defend themselves on their own. And I'm like, that's not true. Like, that's a lie. That's
if America wasn't propping up Israel, they'd be in a world of hurt.
And he knows that. I think everyone knows that. And it's disingenuous even to frame it that way, because to take this position that I just don't care about Gaza. Okay, but America we're on the hook for that in every way, shape, and form. It's detrimental to our country. And this arrangement exists because of corruption. So you can't recuse yourself and say, well, that's happening over there. Yeah, but we're involved, and we're involved because of what's happening here. So I thought that was very disingenuous, and I just wish that they would be as forceful on that issue as they are on the other things. And I think there's a deception there. I don't like that.
Yeah. So more than just we don't touch it, but even at least on a couple of occasions saying something that was categorically untrue.
Right.
Like Israel is a big boy and they're great in their own right and they can do their own thing. When they literally can't. It's not like Israel, I just want to stay out of it. It's like, no, we are actually actively propping them up. And somebody has to say enough.
Right.
All right. Who are some others?
I would say that, and again, this is kind of like a different category. What I really can't stand lately is Josh Hammer, who's also a Daily Wire alum. I believe he's now at Newsweek. And Josh Hammer, I don't know if you're familiar with him.
A little bit. He was at NatCon.
Yes.
Right. Okay. He was on a panel at NatCon, and I had a friend on that panel who's still a friend, but wasn't stoked.
Yeah, didn't love that. Yeah. Well, he's been around forever, and he was at Daily Wire for a long time, and I think he went away, and I think he has some role there now, although I'm not sure. And what I knew this guy for many years is that he would frequently tweet that white people are inherently anti-Semitic. He's tweeted it on at least 2 or 3 occasions. He says that...
Well, white people are historically Christian.
Right. Yeah, historically. So,
and the New Testament, like, I got in big trouble because I said the Bible is anti-Semitic. Now, I don't think in an objective sense, but what I was trying to say is that